Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Tiny Blue Games. My name, of course, is Csaw or Chris, and with me I have the triumphant Ryan. And look at that! Look, he did it. He made his legendary staff.
10 months in the making.
Slash bow in chat. Slash bow in comments, not chat. We don't live stream. But yeah, look at that pretty ass staff. Anyways, we're coming at you today with a new Guild Wars 2 video where we're going to speculate on what could happen in the next Living Story episode because it's probably right around the corner and we're pretty damn excited about it.
Yeah.
So yeah, well, I guess the big thing we're going to look at is a bunch of loose ends in the story right now. See where those could take us, and then spoilers or leak rumors or whatever, if you don't want to listen to it, whatever, but we kind of know we're probably going to the Crystal Desert. Yeah. So we want to see how those loose ends could get there. That's what the video is about.
Yeah, it's pretty much confirmed at this point. That's what's going to be happening.
I mean, Mike O'Brien kind of like, those leaks are probably true, guys, but just be careful of them. So let's get to it. What do we want to discuss first, buddy?
Okay, well, what do you think will be the start of the Living Story expansion?
The map. How about map? Like, where?
Yeah, sure. Because according to what they've been doing, and they've had a team for every, I guess, third... because they've had one pretty much working on the White Mantle, one doing Fire Island Chain, and one that we would assume was doing the Far North.
So with that, we'd assume it would be another ice map.
I would assume that, but the interesting thing about this is we're going in very blind here because what they did with the last Living Story update could have been the end of a season, right? We solved the issue that we've been having throughout the season. We've discovered who Lazarus is. We've stopped the White Mantle. We've powered down, I guess,
two Elder
Dragons.
Assuming that's true. I mean, she assumed that. Do you think that's true? If we do have a, northern map, is there a chance that Jormag's, doing shit? Or is he, sleepy and then Bram's going to come and, shoot him in the face or something like that?
Oh, I think if they were to kill an Elder Dragon in a Living World update, that would be terrible. But
I don't mean kill him, but shoot him in the face and wake him up, from his slumber.
That could... See, if I didn't know about these leaks, I would say...
Maybe.
Yeah, and hopefully people aren't listening at this point still if you don't want spoilers. But the basic assumption is next Elder Dragon on the list is Kralkatorrik. But if we didn't already know that from the leaks, I would definitely assume, okay, we're going to kill Jormag. But I'm not sure anymore, and what I'm thinking could be a segue into the Crystal Desert is, okay, we powered down Primordus, we powered down Jormag. Everyone was kind of waiting for Taimi to make a mistake. It's still possible she could have. And by powering down those two, Kralkatorrik is unimaginably powerful now, maybe, because they, of course, retain certain amounts of their magic, but they'd lose a lot of it too, which would be spread between him and the Deep Sea Dragon, and we don't really know what the Deep Sea Dragon is up to.
It's true. If both Jormag and Primordus are powered down, Kralkatorrik becomes the big figure, right? He's the only one that's alive and well that we know about. Yeah. Or awake.
Whereas when we know the Deep Sea Dragon is awake, but it's not really.
We have guesses that his name is Steve, but we're unconfirmed on that either.
Steve or Bubbles spelled backwards.
Bubbles spelled.
Yeah. But I don't know. That's sort of the point of this video is what's gonna tie into going to the Crystal Desert. Another loose end I'm really curious about is Rytlock.
Well, let's talk about Rytlock.
They did the same thing last season with... I hope they don't make us wait for the expansion again, just because I really love Rytlock.
I think we have to hear at least something about him in the next story episode. Even if we don't resolve his problem, we have to push it a little bit forward. Maybe we hear... that he's been interrogated by the Black Citadel about what happened.
I think another interesting angle could be because Kralkatorrik was the Elder Dragon that originally split apart their races and Destiny's Edge. And now with Logan commanding the Pact, they could go with an interesting angle, and perhaps Rytlock isn't a fan of Logan still. They've kind of worked out the differences, but they could do something interesting there where Logan and Rytlock have another quarrel, not necessarily a crazy battle, but still have a quarrel. Rytlock isn't happy Logan's packed commander.
Mm.
Zoja's still out of the story completely, and I don't
Probably-
think we'll get Zoja again.
I think we'll hear that she's died or something like that
yeah,
at some point. Like,
at some point. I don't think we're getting Zoja back.
which, because
Kaith
Timey's like
is-
just like the new
Yeah.
Azuran princess.
Yeah, and I like Timey. I like Timey a lot. But no, I'm hoping we get Rytlock because he's probably my favorite character of Destiny's Edge. He's probably the most interesting in terms of story. They could actually do a story all about Rytlock because there's lots of mysteries in his lore alone. He's part of the Blood Legion, but he actually associates more with, I believe it's the Ash Legion, because in one of the books, he's hanging around with Ash Legion trying to discover something with them, and somebody mentions, like, well, what are you doing associating with this legion? And he says, like, don't worry about that. That's for me to find out.
Wow,
Or
so he's just all about mysteries,
well,
huh?
and he is, and I like his character a lot because I think he's really well written in the sense that he's kind of the Char character, and they could have totally made it like, I am Char,
Yeah.
bloodthirsty, nothing but battle, totally one-dimensional. But they actually made Rytlock incredibly cunning as well. He's...
Yeah, he is like
yeah.
actually really smart and deep, considering
Yeah.
that, you know, Chars you think could just be like brute force. Like,
yeah, and he has
yeah.
ambition. He's got his own ambitions, right?
well, he's got his own set of goals that are different than.
Yeah, and he's not
Yeah.
even technically, he's not the leader of the Char, but he's definitely seems to be their adopted
It's
leader.
true.
in
I
a
would not
sense.
know who the leader of the Char is if you
It's
asked me.
Smoder, but, well, he's technically the leader of, I believe it's Iron Legion, but,
It's interesting.
he's
yeah.
running the Black Citadel, but, got it. I hope we're getting all this right with deep Char lore. I don't know how we got on this, but I think Rytlock
We were testing your Char lore.
I think Rytlock could be a possible connection into the Crystal Desert. If they bring him back, perhaps he met somebody in the Mists. That will lead us to Krakatorg. Perhaps he talked with Glint. Glint was after... a lot of people assume Rytlock talked to God.
Well,
he definitely probably could have, especially come back with a blindfold. But he could have also spoken to Glint. And maybe Glint, being prophetic, still in the Mists, knows something that's going to happen, and Rytlock is incredibly concerned and isn't sharing that information yet, right? Maybe
Now-
Glint told him something terrible about Krakatorg that he hasn't been mentioning yet to cause a panic, but...
we haven't seen him interact with Balthazar yet.
No.
Does he know something about Balthazar that, you know, like he disappeared right when Balthazar was introduced, right?
As Lazarus... right?
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
but like, does he maybe know something bigger about this plan, and that's who he's talked to? Like, maybe he knows.
Yeah, that could be the issue too, but another possible connect... Okay, so moving on from Rytlock in a way, I guess, how does Balthazar tie into the Crystal Desert?
That's fair. Yeah,
I
how
believe
did
wasn't the entrance to his domain in the Crystal Desert though?
that's
In the original Guild Wars 1 game, I thought.
a game that I've never played, so
No,
I'll have to
I
take
know.
your word for it. But
But yeah, I don't know. Balthazar tying into the Crystal Desert. There could be connections there.
well, I think it could, like, the game's gonna become more revolved around gods than it's ever been in the past.
Than it has been in
like,
the
I mean, that's
past,
already
yeah.
the case since there's a god here, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's established, and I think that could be a big part of what we see in the Crystal Desert.
Yeah.
The last sort of thing, and a pretty big thing to discuss, is Aurene.
Yeah,
And-
that's probably the biggest.
because we haven't seen Aurene in a long time. She kind of was one of the biggest things of this entire story. Like, the very first, you know, trailer for it was about the egg getting infused with magic.
Yeah.
It was big moments of us seeing her hatch, of us training her,
Yeah.
and now she's kind of gone off the radar,
Completely almost unmentioned for two whole
which
updates.
is extremely fishy in my mind.
Yeah.
Like, there's going to be something big to do with her in this last episode, or else Riot. No, I don't know. Like, it's going to be weird if they don't mention her. Like,
It would
if-
be very weird to
Yeah.
not mention Aurene, especially because Aurene... I was trying to think of the connection. I mean, Aurene, would she kind of be a granddaughter of Krakatorg? Because Glint kind of felt like Krakatorg's daughter in a way, just being a dragon champion.
So our next
We're part
video
of
is
his
going to be, you
yoke.
know, dragon family trees. Don't,
Yeah,
don't
absolutely.
Don't you worry about
No,
that.
but Aurene would definitely have connections to Krakatorg more than any other dragon.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, isn't there another, like, dragon?
Gleam.
Who
Oh,
Wooden
that could-
Potatoes, like, is interested in.
Yeah,
like,
Gleam-
particularly horny about, but...
Gleam could come into the story and lead us into the Crystal Desert.
Maybe
It
she
would
comes
be-
and gets Aurene.
It could get Aurene. I think maybe perhaps Aurene is still very probably impressionable, and very young, so perhaps if Kralkatorrik is wise, it could almost send out a call to her.
Yeah.
And we see Aurene fly away to the Crystal Desert, and the start of the X Pack is, oh my god, we gotta go
save
help
our dragon
Aurene
from being corrupted.
Yeah.
I would be down with
massive,
that.
yeah. Or perhaps Kralkatorrik, it would be very cheesy to do it the same way Primordus did, but in the second story, Primordus tries to kill Aurene by sending all the destroyers into the inner sanctum in Tarir. Not the inner sanctum, but the room where Aurene is housed in Tarir.
Yeah.
So I don't think they should do it like that again, but maybe through some way Kralkatorrik tries to kill Aurene, and we think like, okay, well, Primordus is down and out for a while, so is Jormeg, we can't do anything with the Deep Sea Dragon. Kralkatorrik is starting to get ambitious, trying to kill Aurene, it's time to deal with him.
Yeah.
But I almost think a rescue mission for Aurene would be interesting, because it already feels like the first two things have been just like a little conveyor belt, like, okay, this guy's that next, this guy's next. I don't want it to be convenient to go after Kralkatorrik. I want it to feel like we have to, or else something terrible is going to happen. Like, I don't want it to just be a story where it's like, oh, this guy's next, you know what I mean? Because it's convenient. I want it to feel high stakes, other than just high stakes because of how powerful they are. I'd love for it to feel like, if we don't do this, like, there's going to be terrible.
Well, I'd either love that, or I'd love the whole, Kralkatorrik and Aurene going to the Crystal Desert being a complete side story to the expansion, and there actually being a complete new major villain that's
Palawa
what we're focusing. Like, and just taking like a small break from like dragons for one expansion, focusing on like an actual person or whatever, and really, I don't know, just really exploring a different side of Guild Wars 2 while this like dragon stuff is going on the side. And then maybe next expansion, it's back to the Elder Dragons for some reason. Like, we're actually going after one. Like, okay. Does that make sense?
That's so perhaps the end of the story in the expansion wouldn't be killing Kralkatorrik. It might be we defeat Palawa Joko.
Yeah, exactly.
And then maybe Living Story Season 4 starts into a continued adventure into deeper parts of the desert to find Kralkatorrik.
Yeah.
Because looking at the maps that have been leaked, I've tried to find a spot where it's like, oh, that must be Kralkatorrik's lair. But it is hard to find a spot, whereas if you were to see the Dragon Stand maps, and
it's a lot more obvious.
It's obvious where, especially if you get the Living Story map and there's that massive twisting spine, and you were to see that, it'd be like, that's probably Mordremoth's housing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I never thought of that, where it could be they're going to take a break for a bit, have Elder Dragon stuff still going on, but perhaps because Palawa Joko would definitely be a character that could sustain his own story.
His own expansion, right?
Yeah.
Like, he could, much like the Lich King, be like his own title, like, of the... Yeah, which would be, I think, a cool change for Guild Wars 2.
Yeah.
Just to shake things up a little bit from, like, Dragon this, Dragon that, Dragon Bash, Dragon...
I think 100% Palawa Joko and Kralkatorrik will both be in the expansion. And thinking about it, it would be a bit of a crime to have Palawa Joko be nothing but a side character.
Right? Like,
perhaps we could get Palawa Joko and Balthazar fighting. Two arguably equally powered beings now, because Palawa Joko will be very powerful, if nothing else, for his army. And Balthazar's army is probably weakened, because he's weakened. It might not be very strong, it might not be very big, and...
I do think that could be one of Balthazar's ties to the Crystal Desert, is, like, some interaction with him there. I don't know what that interaction would be. That's a big question mark, but,
especially because Balthazar, who before was, all about the glory of battle and honor and fighting with honor, and... Palawa Joko is kind of the polar opposite of that. Palawa Joko is a trickster. He's very cunning. He's, not necessarily a brute force character. He's very wise, and
he's an interesting,
He's a schemer. So perhaps these two could team up in a way, if Balthazar even has said, because he says in the final episode he's seen the error of his ways, and that there's no glory in war, and
turning his new leaf,
so we could see somewhere Balthazar abandons sort of the typical valor of, you have to fight with honor and non-cowardice, and embrace Palawa Joko as somebody who is has no honor but sees massive results. So that could be interesting as a team up, or if they were to fight against one another, and if they fight against one another, what's our role in that? Because we would not want to support either one.
Yeah, no, we could be just tossed in between a bunch of things, which would be cool.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty much everything we have the speculate
Yeah,
on.
for the most part. I'm sure there'll be more videos to come.
And if there's something we forgot, like, do bring it up in the comments. We're always looking for new things to discuss ourselves. Or, like,
absolutely.
if we got some char lore wrong, let us know.
Most like if you guys have your own theories, I'd love to hear them, because I think for the first time, probably the most at any point this season, I have no idea I don't know where we're going even. I don't know if we are going to even the north. We might not be. We could be, and that opens up even more questions, because how do we go from the north to going incredibly south? Most likely with some twist ending at the very end, possibly involving Aurene. Or do you guys even think we're going to go to the north in this expansion? Perhaps we're going to go through the gates at Ebonhawk into the Crystal Desert, I believe that's what those gates are.
Either way,
there,
I'm extremely excited.
Oh, yeah.
So, guys, thanks for watching. Leave comments down below, and we'll see you in the next video.
Bye, guys.